Learn English through story. Forbidden desire of the heart. In a quaint town nestled between rolling hills and winding rivers, there lived a woman named Clara. She was known for her exceptional talent as a sculptor, breathing life into marble with her delicate touch. The townsfolk admired her work, but few knew the depth of her soul, burdened by unfulfilled dreams and a longing for something beyond the ordinary. Clara had always been a dreamer, captivated by the beauty of the world around her. Yet, her life was a canvas of responsibilities, overshadowed by her family's expectations. Her parents had envisioned a different path for her, a life of stability and conformity, one that shunned the uncertainties of artistic pursuits. As a result, Clara often found herself torn between the desire to follow her passion and the pressure to adhere to societal norms. One fateful day, while attending a gallery opening in the city, Clara met Alexander, a charismatic art dealer with a passion for discovering hidden talent. He was tall, with deep-set eyes that sparkled with intellect and charm. Their connection was instant, as if they had known each other for a lifetime. Clara felt a spark igniting within her, a feeling she had long thought extinguished by the weight of her obligations. Their conversations flowed effortlessly, revolving around art, philosophy, and their dreams. Alexander was different from anyone she had ever met. He spoke with fervor about the art world, his voice a melody that resonated with her creative spirit. Clara found herself enchanted by his passion, captivated not only by his words but by the warmth of his presence. As the evening progressed, they wandered through the gallery, discussing the works displayed. Alexander's appreciation for Clara's talent was palpable, igniting a flame of ambition within her. They spent hours lost in conversation, oblivious to the world around them, until the closing of the gallery forced them apart. As they exchanged numbers, Clara felt a pang of longing, an unspoken promise hanging in the air between them. In the following weeks, Clara and Alexander began a whirlwind romance, filled with late-night conversations, shared dreams, and stolen moments that felt both exhilarating and forbidden. They would meet at cafes, art shows, and secluded parks, their connection deepening with each encounter. Clara felt alive in his presence, as if the weight of her responsibilities lifted, and for the first time in years, she allowed herself to dream without restraint. However, as their relationship blossomed, so did the complexities surrounding them. Alexander was engaged to a wealthy woman named Isabella, a match arranged by their families. Isabella was everything Clara was not: polished, poised, and deeply entrenched in the social circles that Alexander's family occupied. Clara knew that their relationship was built on a precarious foundation, one that could shatter at any moment. Despite the impending threat of discovery, Clara found it increasingly difficult to distance herself from Alexander. Their bond was more than physical, it was an emotional and intellectual connection that defied explanation. She admired his dedication to art, his understanding of the human experience, and the way he ignited her passion for creation. In his eyes, she saw a reflection of herself, a woman unafraid to pursue her dreams, even when the world insisted she conform. Yet the guilt weighed heavily on her heart. Clara wrestled with her emotions, questioning the morality of their connection. She had never intended to become the other woman, the muse in someone else's story. And yet, she felt an undeniable pull toward Alexander, one that drowned out the voice of reason in her mind. Their moments together were filled with laughter, tenderness, and an unspoken promise of something deeper, something that transcended the constraints of their circumstances. One rainy evening, as they sought refuge in a cozy cafe tilde copyright, Clara could no longer contain the turmoil within her. "Alexander, we need to talk about this," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "I can't keep pretending that everything is okay when I know it's not." He looked at her, his brow furrowing in concern. "I don't want to hurt you, Clara. But what we have is real, isn't it?" "Yes, it's real," she replied, her heart racing. But at what cost? You're engaged. I don't want to be the reason for a broken commitment. Alexander sighed, running a hand through his hair. Isabella is a wonderful woman, but she doesn't understand me the way you do. With you, I feel alive. I can't let go of that, and I don't want to lose you. Clara felt a rush of conflicting emotions. But this isn't fair to her. She deserves someone who can give her their whole heart, not half of it. Is it fair to either of us to deny what we feel? He countered, his voice pleading. I can't imagine my life without you. You inspire me in ways I never thought possible. As they locked eyes, Clara saw the sincerity in his gaze. The love they had for one another was palpable, igniting a fire within her. Yet the weight of their circumstances loomed large, casting a shadow over their relationship. She felt trapped between her desires and the moral implications of their love. Days turned into weeks, and the tension between them grew. Clara felt herself pulled toward Alexander while simultaneously pushing him away, grappling with the undeniable truth that their love was fraught with complications. She immersed herself in her art, pouring her heart into every sculpture, trying to channel her emotions into something tangible. Then, one evening, as Clara returned home from a late-night studio session, she received an unexpected call from Alexander. His voice was strained, filled with urgency. Clara, I need to see you. It's important. Her heart raced as she agreed to meet him at their favorite park, the moon casting a silvery glow over the trees. When she arrived, Alexander was pacing, his face etched with concern. Is everything okay? She asked, her heart sinking at the sight of his distress. I had a confrontation with Isabella, he admitted, his voice low. She suspects something is going on between us. I can't let her control my life anymore. Clara's heart raced with fear. What do you mean? Are you going to break off the engagement? I want to, but it's complicated, he said, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. My family is expecting this marriage. It's all about appearances and maintaining the social status quo. Alexander, this is serious, Clara replied, her voice barely above a whisper. What if they find out about us? I don't care, he said, determination shining in his eyes. I love you, Clara. You're my future, not her. I'm done living a lie. As he took her hands in his, Clara felt a surge of hope and fear intertwined. The weight of their choices pressed down on them, the world around them fading as they stood together, united in their shared desire. But the reality of their situation hung heavy in the air, a constant reminder of the consequences that awaited them. I can't keep doing this, Clara finally said, her voice breaking. As much as I love you, I can't be the reason you turn your back on your family. You have to think about what this means for both of us. I'm willing to fight for us, Clara, he insisted, his grip tightening around her hands. I won't let anyone dictate my heart. You mean too much to me. Torn between her love for Alexander and the burden of guilt, Clara felt as if she were standing on the edge of a precipice. What if it doesn't work out? What if you lose everything? Then at least I'll have you, he said, his voice steady. And I can't imagine a life without you. In that moment, Clara realized the depths of her own feelings. The desire they shared was more than mere attraction, it was a profound connection that transcended the limitations of their circumstances. Yet, the stakes were higher than ever, and the path ahead remained shrouded in uncertainty. As the weeks unfolded, Clara and Alexander continued to navigate the delicate balance of their relationship. They met in secret, stealing moments of intimacy while the world around them carried on, blissfully unaware of the turmoil beneath the surface. Their love was intoxicating, a flame that burned brightly despite the rain of doubt that threatened to extinguish it. However, the weight of their situation pressed heavily on Clara's conscience. The guilt began to seep into her art, tainting her sculptures with a darkness that reflected her inner turmoil. Each piece felt like a cry for help, a manifestation of the conflicting emotions that consumed her. One day, As she stood in her studio, shaping a piece of marble into a delicate figure, the door swung open, revealing Isabella. Clara's heart dropped, and her hands froze as she met the other woman's piercing gaze. "Clara," Isabella said, her voice cool and composed, "we need to talk." Clara's mind raced as she set down her tools. "Isabella, yeah, I know about you and Alexander," Isabella interrupted, her voice unwavering. "I've seen the way he looks at you. It's obvious he's not the same man when he's with you." "Isabella, it's not what you think," Clara stammered, her heart pounding. "Save it," Isabella snapped, stepping closer. "You're an artist. You know how to create illusions. But I see the truth. Alexander and I are engaged, and I won't let you come between us." "Engaged or not, he deserves happiness," Clara replied, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her veins. "If he wants to be with you, then he should be." "Don't act like you care about his happiness," Isabella retorted, her eyes narrowing. "You're just a distraction for him, a fleeting escape from his reality." Clara felt the heat of anger rising within her. "You don't know anything about me, or what he and I have." "I know enough," Isabella said, her voice cold. "He will marry me, and you will be nothing more than a memory, an artistic fling he'll forget once the novelty wears off." Clara stood frozen, grappling with the weight of Isabella's words. The truth hung in the air like a storm cloud, darkening the vibrant colors of her feelings. In that moment, she realized that no matter how deep her love for Alexander ran, the reality of their situation was more complicated than she had ever imagined. "Why are you here?" Clara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I came to give you a choice," Isabella said, her expression softening momentarily. "Walk away from him. It will save you both a world of pain, or I will expose you." Clara felt the ground beneath her feet shift as Isabella's words sank in. The threat hung heavy in the air, suffocating her hopes for a future with Alexander. She understood the reality of their world, where reputation and status mattered more than love. "I can't do that," Clara finally said, her voice steady despite the storm brewing within her. "I won't live in fear of your threats. If Alexander chooses to be with me, then that's his decision. I'm not afraid of what anyone thinks." Isabella's gaze hardened. "Then you're a fool, Clara. Enjoy your fleeting moments of passion while you can. But remember, the world will always catch up with you." As Isabella left, Clara stood alone in her studio, the weight of the confrontation settling heavily on her shoulders. The flicker of hope she had felt moments ago dimmed as the reality of her situation became clearer. She realized that love, while powerful, was not always enough to conquer the obstacles that lay ahead. That night, Clara found herself at a crossroads. She needed to talk to Alexander, to lay everything bare and face the truth of their relationship. But the fear of losing him gnawed at her heart, the uncertainty swirling around them like a tempest. When they met the next evening, Clara could see the exhaustion etched on Alexander's face. He had been navigating the complexities of his engagement while trying to balance his feelings for her. "Clara, I've been thinking about us," he began, his voice strained. "Isabella is pressuring me to set a wedding date, and I don't know what to do." Clara's heart sank. "You need to be honest with her, Alexander. If you're not ready to marry her, then don't. You deserve to be happy." "I can't just walk away from everything," he replied, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "But I don't want to lose you either." "Then we have to make a choice," Clara said, her voice trembling. "I won't be the reason you lose your family or your future. It's not fair to either of us to keep living like this." He reached for her, his touch sending a shiver through her. "What if we could find a way to make this work?" "I can talk to my parents. I'm willing to fight for us, Clara." "I want to believe that, but the reality is that you are still engaged," she replied, her heart breaking at the thought of what they might lose. "What if you end up hurting everyone involved?" "I'd rather hurt everyone than lose you," he insisted, desperation in his eyes. Tears brimmed in Clara's eyes as she looked away, grappling with the weight of their decision. Love shouldn't come with this much pain, Alexander. We shouldn't have to fight for something that should be simple. As they stood there, their hearts entangled in the complexities of love and desire, Clara realized that their relationship was built on shaky ground. The thrill of forbidden desire had captured their hearts, but the reality of their choices was suffocating. Days turned into weeks, and as the wedding date for Alexander and Isabella approached, Clara felt herself slipping further into despair. She immersed herself in her art, using the pain of her heartache as inspiration. Each sculpture became a reflection of her inner turmoil, a testament to the love she had tried to cultivate despite the odds stacked against them. Finally, the day arrived when Clara could no longer deny the truth. She knew she had to confront Alexander one last time, to lay bare her heart and soul. As she arrived at their usual meeting spot, the park bathed in golden sunlight, her heart raced with anticipation and dread. "Clara," he said, his voice soft as he approached, "you look beautiful." She smiled, but the sadness in her eyes betrayed her. "We need to talk, Alexander. It's time to face the truth." He nodded, his expression serious. "I've been thinking about our situation, too. I can't keep living this lie, pretending that everything is okay." Clara took a deep breath, the weight of her decision heavy on her heart. "I can't be the reason you sacrifice your future. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to Isabella." "What are you saying?" he asked, confusion etched on his face. "I'm saying that we need to let go of each other," Clara replied, tears spilling down her cheeks. "As much as it hurts, it's the right thing to do." "Clara, no," he protested, stepping closer. "We can figure this out together. I don't want to lose you." "But you're on the brink of a life that you've built," she insisted, her heart breaking with each word. "You deserve to be happy, even if it means letting me go." He stared at her, the anguish in his eyes mirroring her own. "I can't imagine my life without you." "Sometimes, love means making sacrifices," she said softly. "We have to do what's best for ourselves, even if it feels impossible." In that moment, Clara felt the weight of their love pressing down on her, a beautiful yet burdensome flame that could no longer be sustained. Their connection had been intoxicating, but the reality of their situation demanded a painful choice, one that would ultimately lead them both toward a path of healing. As they stood there, tears mingling with the fading light of day, Clara made the hardest decision of her life. She chose to step back, to release the hold their love had on her heart. "I'll always cherish the time we spent together," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You've changed my life in ways I never thought possible." "And you've changed mine," he replied, his voice filled with emotion. "But I don't want to lose you." "You won't lose me. You'll always be a part of my heart," Clara said, her heart heavy with the weight of love unfulfilled. In that moment, they shared a final embrace, a bittersweet farewell that echoed with the promise of what could have been. Clara felt the warmth of his presence fading, replaced by the cool breeze of reality that swept over them. As she turned to leave, Clara knew that the flame of their love would linger in her heart, but it would no longer consume her. Instead, it would become a guiding light, illuminating the path toward healing and self-discovery. In the months that followed, Clara poured her heart into her art, using the pain of her lost love as a source of inspiration. Each sculpture she created told a story, a testament to the beauty and complexity of desire, loss, and the choices that shape our lives. Alexander, too, found himself at a crossroads. He faced the reality of his engagement, navigating the expectations of his family while grappling with the absence of Clara. Their love had been a spark, igniting a fire within him that he could no longer ignore. He chose to end his engagement with Isabella, realizing that true happiness lay in authenticity rather than obligation. As Clara and Alexander embarked on separate journeys of self-discovery, the flame of their love transformed into a beacon of hope, a reminder that the love, even when forbidden, can inspire growth, change, and ultimately lead to the freedom of the heart. Years later, at a gallery showcasing her work, Clara stood proudly among her sculptures, each piece a reflection of her journey. As she looked around, she spotted Alexander in the crowd, his eyes searching for hers. When their gazes met, a familiar warmth spread through her heart, igniting a spark of connection that had never truly extinguished. In that moment, they understood the power of love, yet the beauty of their shared experience, the lessons learned, and the strength gained from their choices. They had both emerged from the depths of desire, forging their own paths while cherishing the memories of a love that had shaped them. As they approached one another, Clara felt the weight of the past lift, replaced by a sense of peace. They exchanged smiles, knowing that their hearts had weathered the storm of forbidden desire and emerged stronger than before. And so, amidst the art that adorned the gallery, Clara and Alexander found themselves standing at the precipice of a new beginning, a one filled with the promise of love, freedom, and the beauty of self-discovery. In the end, they understood that while their hearts had once yearned for something forbidden, the true journey lay in the pursuit of authenticity and the courage to embrace the flames of their desires, no matter the cost. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.